Hello and welcome to a short talk about GCSE textiles at the Quennevais school. So why choose GCSE textiles? Well, there's lots of reasons to choose GCSE textiles, but I'm just going to go through some of the main ones. We are incredibly lucky to have the most amazing state-of-the-art facilities. Our textile room has been designed to be able to facilitate students learning and develop their technological skills, and it incorporates the latest digital machinery and equipment. Textiles also develop students' transferable skills. So as well as developing your creativity and your design skills and your practical skills, your research skills, it also creates what industry looks for and what employers sometimes say are called soft skills. So things like communication, ICT, teamwork, working to a deadline, organisational skills, all those sorts of soft skills that employers will look for in the future. Textiles is also the second biggest industry in the UK, and globally fashion and textiles is a massive industry. And although we're going into a climate where there's going to be different types of restraints possibly on that industry due to environmental pressures, it also actually gives opportunity for different careers that are developing, which I will speak a little bit later on about. It's also incredibly fun and exciting, and it's a chance for you to be creative without having to be a fine artist and reproduce something to make it look like a photograph. You can take an image, an inspiration from an artist, something that you've seen, and you can develop your own style, your own design, and it's really mainly based on things like line, pattern, shape and colour, not like reproducing something to make it look like a photograph. So the GCSE course is broken up into portfolio projects and exam. You do 2 portfolio projects. The first one, which you start at the beginning of year 10, is print into fashion. And the second one, which you start towards the end of year 10, and this will take you into year 11 and encompass your mock exam, is called Embellish and Upcycle. The print into fashion project teaches you a range of skills and gives you a good basis if you want to make a garment in your actual exam in year 11. It teaches you how to do that. It covers a range of different printing techniques, so you learn how to do lino printing, block printing, sublimation printing, screen printing, thermofax printing, cyanotype printing and freezer paper printing. So you have a range of different skills that you can select to print from. You also learn how to do digital printing as well. The Embellish and Upcycle project teaches you a load of new skills. So on your second project, again, you're building up your skills portfolio to include applique, digital embroidery and digital embellishment. So a little bit more about how we break each portfolio project down. The print into fashion project, your first one that you would do, starts off with you looking at some different artists. So you do, for assessment objective 1, your artist reference, which is worth 1/4 of your marks. You can see on the slide that we've got some images and writing in the sketchbook. Most of your work is presented in a sketchbook, and that written piece was done by a student currently in year 10 who visited an exhibition at CCA Galleries in town and looked at the artist PJ Thompson, who does screen printing. So that will inform her for her screen printing work. She's then underneath analysed a piece of work by an international artist, Yelena James, and she's broken that down as a written analysis. The second part, the assessment objective 2, exploring and experimentation, that teaches you lots and lots of different skills and techniques, as I said previously. So you learn all those different printing techniques, and then you decide which one it is, or it might be a combination of different ones that you want to use in your final piece. AO3, assessment objective 3, is observation. That's where you have to show that you have looked at things, and for the first project we base it all around nature. So you go to the zoo and you take photos in the butterfly enclosure, you look at plants and flowers and butterflies and the reptiles at the zoo as well. You go to the fish market and you're looking at all the really beautiful patterns, colours, shapes and forms that are on these things that are going to inform your design, because as I said before, textiles is all about line, pattern, shape and colour. And then for assessment objective 4, you will produce your final garment. So you have a range of garments to choose from. We have a skirt, a box top, which is what you can see there. We have a cami top, we have a column dress, which is like a full-length maxi dress, and we have baggy trousers as well. So you have a range of garments that you can choose, and then you will have all your techniques that you've used, all your observation, all your research, and your assessment objective 4 will be making that final garment. So portfolio project 2, embellish and upcycle, which starts towards the end of year 10 and takes you into year 11 into your mock exam, is a project based on upcycling, and you will look at environmental issues and why designers are really trying to make fashion more sustainable so that products last longer, so we're not harming the environment that we're working in. So we do a real focus on denim and the environment impact of denim and how we can upcycle denim, as it's quite a hardy fabric, and what we can do to embellish it and give it a new life, so give it a new design. So again, your artist reference, your assessment objective 1 is looking at different designers. Your assessment objective 2, you learn different techniques in applique. You learn how to do digital embroidery with the latest Genome digital embroidery machine, and you learn how to use an embellishing machine to create your own types of fabrics and your own types of designs. You're going to, for this project, look at a range of motifs including eyes and hearts and skulls, and then you're going to take a denim garment. It could be a jacket, a shirt, it could be dungarees or jeans, and you're going to upcycle it with all these beautiful embellishments that you have created. So what are textiles lessons like? Well, they're very busy. You have an awful lot to get through, and anyone who has ever done any sewing or textiles work will tell you it's incredibly time consuming. But the environment is very relaxed because everybody has chosen to do this subject and they're very keen and they want to excel, but it's very purposeful and we have an awful lot to get through in every lesson. And the Textiles GCSE, I think, really does encompass learning to be your best through excellence and enjoyment. We want you to excel, but we also want you to enjoy it and have fun and be really proud of what you achieve. You have 3 lessons a week where you learn the new machinery, the new technology, the new materials. You experiment and you refine, you go back and you improve, and you create and you explore, and you find your own fashion and textile design style. It's very, very important that you become an individual. We don't want 2 people whose work looks the same. We want you to push boundaries. We want you to attend workshops that we put on after school. We give you one-to-one tutorials to make sure you're keeping up, offer masterclasses in certain techniques, and we aim for you to gain the confidence that you can just turn up after school and then you can use the equipment, the sewing machines, the digital embroiderer, the thermofax machines, etc., so that you can be independent, you're skilled, you're trained how to use them, and then you can make creative leaps and start to build a huge sketchbook of work which is going to be filled with evidence for the assessment objectives. And what we really want you to do is feel incredibly proud of what you achieve on a day-to-day basis, but also as you go through the course, you look at your sketchbook, you look at the evidence, the body of work, and we want you to be incredibly proud of your creative achievements. So this is how the subject is assessed. You have these 2 projects I've talked about, and that's 60% of your grade. And they're assessed in 4 assessment objectives, which I've briefly spoken about. So you have to research different artists and designers. You have to try out different techniques, equipment, technology, and experiment. You have to look at things, as I said, you go to the zoo, you go to the fish market, you're actually looking at interesting things that have interesting patterns, shapes, lines on them and colours, and then you have to produce something which shows what you've looked at and shows that journey that you've been on. So you produce a garment or your denim upcycled piece for your second project. The exam is 40% of your grade and is assessed in exactly the same way using the same assessment objectives. So you will have all these skills as you go into the exam, you'll have all that knowledge, all that research, and the exam, as long as you are organised and prepared, you can't fail. So how do we stretch and challenge students? Well, we don't let students sit back. We aim for them to achieve the highest grades that they can. And when I say high, I mean including the high standard grade 9. And we give live feedback in every lesson. So we're constantly directing students, why don't you try this? Why don't you add that? Go back and refine this. Give them going green targets to improve their work continuously throughout the course. We want to stretch and challenge every student to become their own individual designer. Our studios are open after school for students to continue to develop their work, to push their boundaries and create greater and more refined work, showing off their skills and aiming for those high grades. And we also try to stretch and challenge by offering extra workshops on specific techniques that we cannot include in the time frame of the curriculum lessons. So, frequently asked questions that students have asked me in the past: do I need to be good at art to do GCSE textiles? Absolutely not. We're not looking for people who are amazing drawers or painters, but if you are, that's great as well. We'll have you too, but it's not necessary for you to be able to draw or paint or be a fine artist. Do I need to know how to sew to do GCSE textiles? No, you don't. You're taught all the different hand stitch and machine stitch techniques that you will need to know. Do I need to know how to use a sewing machine to do GCSE textiles? No, again, all training is given on all pieces of equipment. And where will GCSE textiles take me? What is the point of doing it? Well, as on top of the enjoyment, the fun, and the enhancing your creative skills, GCSE textiles teaches a range of skills that employers seek. So even if you don't use textiles as a direct career path, it will give you ICT skills, technology skills, creativity skills, team working. It shows that you are organized. It shows that you have a good standard of literacy, numeracy, that you can use scientific skills when you're dyeing fabrics and putting different fabrics together, and that you can communicate your ideas and develop your own style. Fashion and textiles is the second largest industry in the UK, and many new and emerging careers are evolving in this area, including 3D printing engineer, consumer psychologist, sustainability, fabric researcher and developer, fashion and textile designers, and interior designers, to name but a few, but it is a vast industry. And also, if you wanted to continue with your textiles course development after GCSE, there are A-level textile courses available on the island, and you can also include textiles and fashion as part of the BTEC course at Highlands. So what extra opportunities can textiles give you? Well, we're delighted to have an annual fashion show, which we've had at the Harbour Gallery in the previous 2 years, but now with our amazing, beautiful building, we're very excited to start having our fashion shows in schools. As a GCSE student, you will have the responsibility for organising and styling your model, whether that is you or somebody else, and you will be showing off the beautiful garments that you have made in your coursework. We're also introducing this year, because we're doing more technological work and digital printing, our head teacher, Mrs. Haig, has generously agreed to sponsor 3 students to have their printed fabric digitally printed professionally for their first project, Print into Fashion. This competition is entered by every GCSE student, so they all submit their fashion designs for their digital prints, and then Mrs. Haig will choose the 3 that she thinks show the most creativity and individuality, and they will be printed in the UK professionally at professional printers, so the students will have that fabric to make their garments from. The Harbour Gallery also does have an annual textiles exhibition, and it's very exciting to be able to say that our students have been asked to submit work for this annual public exhibition in the autumn term. This isn't just a student exhibition, it will showcase their work alongside professional textile designers, adult designers and A-level students. So that is something very exciting to look forward to, and it will give our students a great public profile to showcase their work. And finally, we are hoping next year to have fashion and textiles prefects. The organisation of studios is very time consuming, but we're hoping that we can add this role to our student leadership team, which will give students greater responsibility for assisting with the organisation of our studios. So finally, what do we expect from students opting for GCSE? Well, we would like students to be passionate about being creative, to be very open-minded and be engaged with learning new technology, new techniques, and have a real love of developing their own creative style. It is a time-consuming course. If anyone has ever done any stitching, they'll realise just how long a very small piece of work takes, and we are ambitious and we want students to produce 2 garments in that GCSE coursework. So that will mean that there is a lot of extra time outside of lessons that does need to be dedicated to this work. The studios are open after school for GCSE every day. And we expect homework to be done every week. There is some written work because the research is 25% written, but that is all done via Google Classroom. It's all done on Google Docs, so that it doesn't impact on the lessons, which we want to be focusing on your practical skills. We do expect students to attend at least 1 after-school session per week, and we do expect them to be aiming for the highest grades they can achieve, showing the values of the Quennevais school: resilience, ambition, and becoming their best through excellence and enjoyment. We want students who are energised and excited to be in such a creative, productive environment, because we as teachers are energised and excited by what they can achieve.